All right, so another student has been detained by ICE, and if and this is for more flimsy reason than the first graduate student. Now, Mahmoud Khalil, I think is his name, was detained because he organized a protest. And people assume, because let's face it, there's no evidence that we know of, that he actually engaged in pro Hamas propaganda. As saying you do not want your people killed is not the same as being pro Hamas. Actually, there was plenty of Palestinians in the street yesterday protesting Hamas. So, no, Palestine does not equal Hamas. But since we have to deport all these people because Trump has fallen down the right wing rabbit hole that, that there's all these dangerous criminals running around who came here illegally, ICE is now forced to detain people for the flimsiest of reasons. So let's just get right to the article. This is from CBS News. Video shows Tufts graduate student Rumeisa Ozturk detained by ICE on way to Ramadan iftar dinner. Tufts University graduate Rumeisa Ozturk told a 30-year-old Turkish national, I can talk, I promise I can, is being held in Louisiana nearly 2 days after she was detained by federal immigration agents in Massachusetts. Surveillance video shows Department of Homeland Security officers arresting Ozturk Tuesday evening outside her off-campus apartment in Somerville. She was surrounded by 6 ICE agents as she was walking to the school's interfaith center to break the Ramadan fast at an iftar dinner with friends. In the video, an agent is seen taking her phone out of Ozturk's hands before she is handcuffed. The officers were in plain clothes, wearing masks, and driving unmarked cars. A neighbor can be heard in the recording asking, "Is this a kidnapping?" Yes, it is a kidnapping. What the hell? Police officers do not arrest people like that. Maybe in plain clothes. That could be that they just carry a badge. But wearing masks? And driving unmarked cars? No, that's not cool at all. What the fuck are you wearing masks for? Especially since, isn't that one of the reasons Trump lost his shit? That there were protesters wearing masks? And so now ICE is going to be doing that shit? What the hell? Homeland Security has accused Ozturk of being pro-Hamas and said that her visa had been terminated. Her friends say she's being punished for co-authoring an op-ed in the Tufts Daily Campus newspaper last year, calling on Tufts to acknowledge the Palestinian genocide and divest from Israel. There was no mention of Hamas. Of course not, because that doesn't. You don't have to mention Hamas to make you pro Hamas. All you have to do is criticize Israel. I mean, Palestinian genocide. Oh, Israel has every right to just decimate Gaza. There's absolute, and if you actually defend the Palestinians, oh, you must align with terrorists because somehow being being anti-Israel means pro-Hamas, because pro-Hamas obviously means that they give a shit about the Palestinian people. Spoiler alert, they don't. So, yeah, I'm going to say no. I mean, if you use your own people as meat shields, do you really give a shit about your people? No, you don't. So, yeah, where are we getting this idea that if you're anti Israel, you must be pro terrorist? No, if you're anti Israel or this particular government, you are pro Palestinian. That does not mean pro Hamas. Why is this so hard for people to get? Oh, yes, racism. Okay. Tufts University President Sunil Kumar called the video of Ozturk's arrest disturbing in an email to campus Wednesday night. We are in touch with local, state, and federal elected officials and hope that Rumeysa is provided the opportunity to avail herself of her due process rights. Based on what they did with those Venezuelans, don't hold your breath. The university is actively working to support the Tufts community as it mobilizes its collective resources and contacts to ensure our students' safety and well-being, Kumar said. I have to give it to Tufts. Unlike Columbia, who kowtows to the orange toddler, and I'm probably insulting toddlers, Tufts is saying, no, this is not okay. So, yeah, way to stand up for what's right. Ozturk's attorney, Masa Kanbabi, I'm not sure, said there had been no charges filed against her client. Of course not, because they're still trying to figure out what to charge her with to make it sound plausible. On Tuesday night, a federal judge had ordered law enforcement to not move Ozturk out of Massachusetts without 2 days' notice. But she was moved to an ICE processing center in Louisiana, more than 1,000 miles away, Homeland Security said Wednesday. Right, because nothing says everything's on the up and up and she's going to get her due process rights than shuffling her away in the dead of night. Yeah, and completely ignoring a federal judge's order. Yeah, that just says that this administration's going to do whatever the hell they want to do, whenever they want to do it, and they're accountable to absolutely nobody. Hundreds of people protested the arrest at a rally at a park near campus in Somerville Wednesday night. Rayan Bilge, a psychology professor at Northeastern University in Boston, is Ozturk's friend and had her as a student in Turkey. Oh, so it's probably not Bilge. It's probably Billy? I'm not sure. Said she's known Ozturk for several years and called the accusations baseless and libelous. Of course. Because all she did was write an article, asking that Tufts don't support a regime that's actively killing innocent people simply because of the fact that they're Palestinian. I mean, this isn't even a matter of religion, even though this person and Mahmoud Khalil are both Muslim. Not all Palestinians are Muslim. They're all Arab, but not Muslim. So this is totally racism. This has nothing to do with religion. Though I'm sure religion had something to do with it, but still. It's so surreal and heartbreaking, Bilge said. She has never mentioned Hamas, let alone being either anti-Semitic or being anti-anything. Oh, but don't you know? You're anti-Semitic if you don't think that Israel is the most perfect state that's ever been, and they could never, ever in a million years do something shitty because the Holocaust against them happened. So, because the Holocaust happened, they're now absolved from ever doing anything bad, and nobody can criticize them because they're obviously perfect angels because the Holocaust was done on them. I'm sorry, was that a horrible thing? Yes. My father lost plenty of family in the Holocaust. Does that mean that Israel is beyond reproach? No. No, it does not. I mean, there is a huge difference between criticizing the government and criticizing Jews. That is like saying, and I'm sure Trump is completely on board with this, with doing this, is that if you're anti-Trump, you must be anti-American, which, no. I mean, I know that Trump thinks that because Trump thinks that, his shit doesn't stink. But, same thing. It's perfectly all right to criticize a government and not be against every single person who is a member of that country. That is not how any of this works. Nor, in the case of this, does that extend to Jews anywhere else in the world. Because you're criticizing the Israeli government for what they're doing. Heck, there was a whistleblower just yesterday on CBS News talking about how the IDF themselves have used Palestinians as meat shields. Of course, the difference is that Palestinians are a different country. Palestine's supposed to be a different country. So Israelis probably see them as lesser than, or at least the IDF. These particular members of the IDF that actually insisted that this happen. So, but what Hamas is doing is actually in some cases worse because they're doing it to their own fucking people. But so Israel does it too. Only they're not doing their own citizens, they're also using Palestinians as meat shields. So yeah, what is with this? Oh, Trump is doing every accusation is a confession. So the Israeli government has decided, let's do the same thing. Oh, we're accusing Hamas of using their own people as shields. So let's do the same thing. So yeah, it's shit like this that I question the IDF's motives, which I shouldn't. I shouldn't have to do that because there are people like this whistleblower who are saying we did not want to do this. Our general made us do this. So yeah, it's like, oh, this is policy. Whether it is or this general's pulling shit out of his ass so he could justify what he was doing. Given this government, I wouldn't be surprised if it is policy. So, no, these are not good people. This current government are not filled with good people. So, there's nothing wrong with criticizing them. There are mass protests in Tel Aviv against the government. So, are you going to call the very citizens of Israel anti-Semitic? No, you're not. Well, I'm sure Netanyahu will because, he's an asshole. But they're not. You're just criticizing their government. Governments get criticized when they do shitty things. That is normal. And people around the world will call governments out, especially if these are people who either have kinship with the people who the shitty thing is being done to, or are citizens of the country doing the shitty thing, or are somehow involved. They have every right to criticize. Even people who aren't a part of this shittiness can criticize because, these people actually possess empathy. They understand that, what if this was me? What if I was in this situation? I wouldn't want my government to do this. So, yeah, it's called having fucking empathy. I'm pretty sure that if this was the other way around and she was criticizing Palestine for something, or she was criticizing Hamas for something, nobody would say a peep because, they're terrorist organization. Everybody knows that. It's okay to criticize. But you criticize Israel and you get people upset. I mean, I actually, outside of CNN, and on CBS News, I haven't really heard people talking about the Palestinians who were protesting Hamas, which is sad because that implies that there are so many people out there who, even if it's subconsciously, correspond Palestine with Hamas. So it does not compute that Palestinians would actually be protesting their government because they're obviously the same thing. Even though most of these people weren't even alive when Hamas first came to power and have not held an election since. So I just don't understand why I haven't gotten a lot of, I haven't seen a lot more pushback, a lot more coverage of these protests. So, yeah, that's sad. I believe that is the end of this article. So, with that, I will see you guys in the next one.